coordinates, pulled off the target, and I tried to figure out a running heading would probably be the least likely that I would be bagged on, if you would. But unfortunately, those guys were pretty good. They've been sitting there for a year or two doing nothing but shooting at American airplanes, and they pretty much had the routine down. As I pulling off the target, my wingman said, "Dave, I think you've been hit. Looks like you're trailing smoke." I looked down at the instrument panel. I didn't see much of anything going on. I said, that's probably just cons because we're in a real high humidity area there. But shortly after that, the lights started to come on,
The Christmas
yellow
tree.
ones at first,
Right.
right? You get hydraulic one, and then you got your utility hydraulic, engine oil pressure low, this, that, and the other. And finally, even the engine fire warning light came on. I had a choice back then, with this age-old adage that we have in naval aviation that it's generally inadvisable to eject over an area that you just bombed. So trying to get as far away from there as I possibly could, we started heading west. I elected not to go east, which would have taken me back over South Vietnam to the South China Sea. And I elected to go to the west to try and get to Thailand and get across the Thai border. I locked the throttle down at about 92% RPM, trying not to accelerate or decelerate the engine, seeing if I could lock the lubrication in as much as I could on the bearings and all.
Right.
And that J57 engine ran for about 5 or 6 minutes for me with very low or no oil pressure. It was really a lifesaver, to say the least. I got to 12,000 feet, and I was joined up by an F4 that was coming off a PAC-6 mission, going back to Yubon Air Force Base. And of course, all this time I was able to talk to the people on guard, tell them I was in extremis and probably would need help. I didn't make it to Yubon, so I had to go ahead and eject. The first big bang I got, the guy that was chasing by, I said, "Dave, you had about 15 feet of flyer at the tail of your aircraft there." And I said, "Well, it's still running. Let's hang on a little while longer." And then finally, the second time, the big bang was out the front and the back of the engine. So it started to unwind, so it was time to get out. The ejection system, there was a Martin Baker, was in a F5 seat. It was it was a powder seat. It wasn't a rocket like you got today. And so when you fired that thing, you went, like right away.
Yeah.
The F8, the canopy did go. You could go through the canopy, but the normal sequence was that the canopy would go. And once the whole thing, I was about 12,000 feet, so the whole sequence kept going, pushed you away from the seat. The chute deployed fully and completely. And you looked up and you see this absolutely beautiful canopy above you up there with all the panels intact. And wow, it worked. How neat is that? And then you look down, you see your airplane making its final approach, just heading for the ground. Pretty sad. But I was hanging there in the straps for a good while at 12,000 feet. You got a lot of time in the straps.
12 minutes, 13
Yeah,
minutes.
you worry a little bit. The Marcus of Queensbury rules were off over there. They take pot shots at you hanging in the straps, no doubt. But luckily, I'd gotten far enough away from the bad guys. I didn't have to worry about it. Misjudged the ground, and my knee came up and hit my chin, split my lip. But that's the worst of it. I walked away from it without any problems after that. You've got a couple of thoughts. You got to go down there. You say, well, I don't see anybody around here, but now if I hit the ground and there is somebody there, do I want to start a firefight with my little 38 snub nose against some guy with an automatic weapon?
Right.
So you hit the ground, and the first thing you're looking for is someplace to hide. So I found some scrub brushes to hide under. Left the chute, left my seat back, all the survival gear and everything, just let it scattered all over the wall, all over the place, and just went looking to hide you wouldn't hide in the bush somewhere. And I'd been talking to the guys and telling them, I was in trouble. So they had launched the helicopter. So I was only on the ground about 20, maybe 30 minutes at the most, until they came and picked me up. And all the stuff that I left scattered around as well, too.
That's incredible. Obviously being able to get out and get away a good bit,
Yeah.
being able to talk on the radio.
I was a lucky fellow. I was a very lucky fellow, no doubt.
You're dealing with a lot of things. We do survival school, and they do some case studies of different things, one of which an F-117 that went down, but in the chute, he's talking on the radio. So his pickup was very quick versus Scott O'Grady, who got shot down in the F-16. He spent some time evading on the ground.
Right.
And then just trying to talk about just getting the rescue forces going.
Yeah.
And you trying to get as close to him as possible is,
Sure.
is a huge deal. So